Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to some super touring car action. We have crossed the Atlantic. We are at Blue Moon Bay. And on pole once again is Sergio Suarez. At the back of the grid, some continuity from the last round. Kazuki Ide got penalised for an accident that he caused and is forced to start last. This is Adrian Michael Rees along with Christian Shepherd. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And let's see where the lights take us for this. Headlights ablaze, we can hardly see them. But behind the two, there we go. You can see the Alphas now having their usual massive start. Off the lines, Wittmann into the lead. Suarez is technically bottling it, but I suppose that can't be helped when Alpha Power, Ferrari back in. Through the shortcut, into the off-ramp. Wirtz second. A lot of action already. Clean getaway through one of the faster turns. Now we're into the awkward technical stuff, especially the awkward right here. Lights ablaze. Aiello, 5th. Gasho, 6th. Johnson Carmish. Neeson with Palou, the fastest of the rookies, as they head through the hairpins on the infield. The first one very straightforward. The second one always a bit awkward because of the double apex. So you can see the rear wheel of the Focus trying to lift off there. Back onto the oval we go. Almost lap one complete. Swinnerton taking a bit of a nibble from Wickens there. They're still facing in the right direction though, as we complete the final lap, first lap.
Suarez again, start on pole, now all the way down to 5th place.
And his teammate Wirtz has taken the lead, so the top end, the faster part of the power in the Volkswagen, getting the lead back off of Wittmann. So promising start for the Alphas, but let's hope they don't fall too far back. Aiello 4th, Suarez now 5th. Thompson ahead of Gasho. On board, Suarez. So Thompson's closing in there. Not the best of qualifyings, but again, what do you do when the Alpha and the Volkswagen's got the top end of the fastest laps? There's Palou, made up 2 places since the start. Swinnerton trying to catch up with Wickens after the hit in the previous lap. And here are our usual BMWs. Not too bad. Butcher powering through from 18th on the grid, so it's been a good start these first couple of laps for him. And there's Weber. Promising opening season for Gasho throughout the first couple of races. Healthily in the midfield, decent points being positions.
Especially after the first couple of races and rounds where unfortunately he was definitely getting argy-bargy with a couple of the other drivers.
Certainly was. They're still very close through the hairpins of the infield. Listen, against Swinnerton, bit of a wake-up call with Biffle and Schneider behind him. Butcher hasn't closed in, so the power is very much in the fastest part of the track for Butcher by the looks of it, having done so well at the start.
Seem to be a couple of groups now being made as well, especially towards the back.
Schneider with the draft could get 13th through the shortcut of turn 1. E-Day with Kobayashi there and the Privateer Hondas, along with the Privateer Dumas at the back of the pack. whilst the top three remains the same. Wirtz, Wittmann, Fisichella. They start to fan out through the cool temperatures.
Cavish unusually ahead of his teammate. Hasn't been doing too well against Below over the last, well, ever since the start of the season. Below's actually grabbed himself a race win as well.
He certainly has. You'd think if BMW weren't doing too well and all the criticism we hail at them, Ford just scraping into the top 10 of a team with a touring car legacy, that's perhaps questionable.
I'm not so sure about that. The Focuses have like great straight line speed, but definitely seem to be very dogged in the corners, as we saw at the Red Bull Ring, where they were constantly oversteering around 2 or 3 of the corners, especially the penultimate corner. So if they've corrected their mishandling car, the likelihood is it would have probably reduced their top speed as well.
I was about to say the track is very, very flat, apart from that obvious bit of apron they have to sort of ride over. So I think they'll be able to get away with it this time by, as they head up towards Gasho, gaining for that right-hander hairpin coming up. No, I thought the jump would have been on there. As the sun begins to rise very early start today.
And Thompson that's had the runnings in the first 2 rounds. So I'm betting Thompson's quite happy to be pulling away from Gasher at the moment with Camish all over the back.
Still early days for the race so far.
It's an unusual line that they're taking now. You'd often think that that kind of hitting the apron would unsettle the cars.
Perhaps they found a workaround with the suspensions there through a practice, throughout qualifying, especially at this bit as well, as it's a safety measure to not go around and wall hug the first turn of the oval. Webber still in 16th, and yeah,
does appear to be a bit on his own now. They're not able to get any kind of slipstream, and that looks to be E-Day now past everyone in front of that group.
Yeah, absolutely. He's managed to claw back, it's almost to a position every other lap now. He's on lap 6, but still not getting anywhere closer than Butcher is further ahead. We might have just caught a glimpse of him then, as we see Webber, E-Day, Dumas, Rydell, Kobayashi, tail of the field, as we see the rest of them. On board, E-Day.
E-Day already catching right. Oh, that's an interesting place to brake. We're catching right up to Webber now. This Toyota, similar to the Ford, has very good top speed, so can't help but to be seen expecting to catch up to that BMW.
And here's the hand drive, Webber, but there's E-Day behind him.
Oh, here he comes.
Look at the speed advantage on the main straight. He's got him.
Just see this, that Toyota just has incredible top speed.
What's going to happen with the overlap here? Let's see. Yeah, Webber did not capitalise on that. I think E-Day was confident enough to get the dive down the inside, but there's still such a gap between him and Butcher.
Butcher might seemingly be held up in front of him as well.
So we'll hope to see what happens on the front straight. On board, Butcher.
2 Proud boards.
Yeah.
They have the top speed as well, so they're going to hold on to that, usually in front of Schneider. I'll see if Butcher can find something to do here.
The infield hairpin, the right turn might look awkward. The left is probably the worst turn on the track, especially for where trying to get the line right, and there's never really a correct answer. Therefore, you're not going to see any clever overtaking moves happen there, but it does line them up for this golden opportunity with the horsepower to head towards the shortcut of turn 1 Never mind. You were right about the top speed of the Fords.
Well, yeah, the top speed of the Fords is actually dragging that BMW along. So as
Yeah.
much as the Toyota has the top speed advantage over the BMW, it can't do very much in the slipstream.
So
I'm
Butcher's
assuming
at a
that's
bit of
what
an
E-Day
impasse.
had as an issue. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Hey, no problem. So E-Day's no doubt going to gain on Butcher in the next couple of laps, unless miracles occur. Here's Sophia Schneider down the inside for the hairpin. That's
2 Fords in one.
both the privateers. Wonderful stuff. But then again, okay, cleverly blocked for the double left. But is she going to lose out when the Ford Power hits the speedway? Now.
Let's certainly see.
They're corner cutting for no reason. You can see them touching the grass, let alone the yellow painted apron on the final turn of the speedway.
Look at Butcher all over the back of one of the Fords for a second there.
The mistake was made. Butcher should capitalise here. He's given up already.
Not quite.
And we've just gone past the halfway point as the sun begins to rise on Blue Moon Bay. Back with the leaders. Sverts, Bittman, Fisichella. You can see Ayala and Suarez still holding station. Same with Thompson and Gasho, Camish. Not a lot can be done, but here comes the hairpin. Here's Swinnet then. The two Fords are having a tussle. Palou just got ahead of Camish.
Does seem to be a bit of a struggle for overtaking around here. A lot of cars seem to catch up to each other and then just seem to go nowhere.
Palou is making Camish look amateur. Rumours are that Ford are not happy with Camish, given the lack of experience Palou has. Keeping in mind, Palou has a win. Camish does not. That does not compute in Ford's eyes, and to a certain degree, neither does ours as well. Camish needs to get into gear. Suarez, all over the back of Ayala.
We've got a bit of a cork in the bottle there, Ayala, seemingly holding up Suarez.
And it's making the Alphas look good as well.
Been awfully happy to stand station and wait.
We'll have to see what happens on the front straight with these guys as well. They've all got the same level of power, so it has to be done on the slipstream. Oh, a bit awkward there for Ayala on the exit of the double left. Back to the oval. Suarez. The power in the Megane is already there, so the gap has already been created, but then let's see what happens here. Too much a gap back for Thompson to gain on Suarez, and Suarez still too far back for the shortcut. 6 to go.
Well, what we're saying about Camish, at least he's sticking with Hello.
Butcher still sticking with Biffle, knowing that the Sophia Schneider BMW is starting to pull away. So the theory is there, it's just the fact that Butcher needs to get his finger out, especially if they're going to be heading into this hairpin where the overtake that Schneider made could be performed again. Nope, still too far back. But then the two Fords, just like the other two Works Fords, having a bit of a biff and barge as Biffle goes into 13th position ahead of his teammate Wickens. So Butcher should look to capitalise on. Still not happening. And too far on the inside on the exit of that double left as well. Now with Fisichella in third, looking at the track map, it looks like he and Wittmann, well no, Fisichella is starting to fall back. Have the tyres in the Alpha already started to subside? Aiello is now all over the back of that Alpha, as is Suarez.
Well, without
Game
seeing,
on.
Without seeing Fisichella's lap time, we don't know if there was a mistake potentially.
Looks for 2 seconds slower. Something definitely up there within the last lap. And there goes Aiello down the inside.
Aiello, my apologies.
It's early. It is definitely early. The sun's about to peek through some of the stands in the background there. Fisichella starting to fall back. And an absolute train behind Fisichella. In the aftermath of what we can only assume has been a slight excursion. Possibly in the double left.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well, maybe it wasn't a mistake there. I think it just genuinely has been just straight up pace.
Well, saying that, Suarez has been consistent with his laps. We'll just have to see what Aiello's laps were again when the director points us back in the right direction. Yep, fairly consistent. Put 2 and 2 together. We'll have to just find out later from the man himself, Fisichella, if that was a mistake or just perhaps a potential Alpha intermittency. Wirtz, Wittmann still first and second. Aiello starting to gain. The rest of the field, especially the latter half of the midfield, starting to spread out. But this looks very much on for the last 3.5 laps. Aiello coming up with a double lift is starting to eat into the gap ahead, as is Wittmann eating into the gap with Wirtz.
Definitely seems that they're taking each other along, because now this one group, say 2 groups, have become a one group right now.
It certainly has. You can see, just loving the shot of the sunlight breaking through some of the bleachers. The shortcut. Fisichella in 4th, starting to make up for his mistake earlier, perhaps. He's not letting off. Suarez is starting to fall back.
So it's a possibility that Fisichella just dropped the pace to try and cool down the tyres and got caught out by Aiello and has now decided to put the pace straight back up.
Quite possibly, but some of these turns on the infield are challenging, to say the least. And there goes Wittmann down the inside. There's the lead. Lead of the race, Sabine Wittmann. Alpha back in front, and there's Aiello up to second.
He's now back through. Well, he's now to say back through. He's straight through.
Game is most definitely on. Fisichella still 4th. Suarez has caught up again. We're in for an epic final 2 laps. Wide goes Aiello.
Wittmann has decided it wanted no time like the present, and it's shot away.
Alpha mean business once again.
And the Alphas are now finally showing their promise at the moment. All the way back to 9th place. Schneider's caught up as well.
Maggio was not a flash in the pan just to impress the Italians then, because they did really well in comparison to the rest of the season. We thought they'd hold back, but this is where they expect to be and are executing on their performance. Wirtz in 3rd, Fisichella 4th, Suarez, but you can see Wittmann in the lead. On board, Wirtz. Will the gap be there for him to dive down the inside of Aiello at the hairpin? Maybe not. But that is an absolute terrain behind them. The 2 works forwards still in tandem. Camish now ahead of Palou. I wonder if team orders are at play there.
Would be a rather strange team order, rather admittedly, to give Camish the place.
Schneider up to 10th. BMW still trying to make the effort. They need to make more of an effort. Swinnerton in 11th. But it looks like with 2 laps to go, it's still hard to tell who's going to win the race, even if Wittmann has got a gap now to Wirtz, to Aiello, to Fisichella. Suarez, even bigger a gap again, but this infield could bunch them up once again. Thompson outperforming his teammate Nielsen. We'll have to get into that detail in the second race later on today, as we are blinded by the sun at the hairpin through to the double left. They've all caught each other up again, but not enough to make a difference. One more to go after this one, boys.
Whitman's getting slightly pulled in now again by Wirtz.
Lest we forget, top 10 reverse grid, making it look good for BMW at the start of race 2, and no one's letting off to sandbag just to deliberately get the pole. I think there has been a sort of instruction there. Anyone spotted sandbagging would be penalised, so they are fighting tooth and nail through the shortcut. Wittmann, Wirtz, Aiello, Fisichella closer to Aiello than before since the battle, but once again, keeping it simple, keeping it safe.
I wonder if Ford did do that then, requested for Pillow then, based on that logic.
You know what? That could be the piece of the puzzle. Even if it's making Camish look good, it gives Palou the setup for race 2, but gives, with that being said, what we in for into the right hairpin as Gasho.
But that extra position.
Final turn coming up. Wittmann leads gap to Wirtz. It's going to be on the power into the final turn and the final drag stretch through Blue Moon Bay Speedway. It's been a long time coming, but what an impressive result in back-to-back weekends for Alpha as they win race 1. Nico Wirtz second, Aiello third. Good effort from the Renault boy. Suarez, you can't say he bottled it if the other cars are going to get a better power off the line. Swinnerton just making sure that Schneider gets across the line. You'd think he'd want to get there first, but never mind. E-Day up to 16th after all. Weber, it's still tenterhooks in Munich, but the battle for last is so far back. Obviously we didn't pay attention to it. I saw the dots on the track, but I didn't really know who it was, so mistakes have been made there, but prize money, job done, race over. That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
So hopefully with the sun coming up, heat into the track, better grip perhaps. Let's see what these cars can do for race 2. See you soon.